Anyway, so the start of the podcast. In
White
3.
people from Reddit, like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Shout outs to
Milton.
to Milton.
Check out his podcast, y'all.
It was slovenlygamer.com. Good guy. Gave some really good advice on how to get these podcasts up and running. But he did also give me a little bit of bad news, which I kind of side with, but I know you don't want to do it. He was like, just scrap the other ones.
Oh, they're so good.
I know they are, but the editing is like taking forever on them, and he knows the struggle. He knows the struggle. Like it was actually really refreshing to talk to somebody who was like, "Yeah, I know what's going on in your life right now." Like anyway. So, so we're on episode 5 technically.
This is volume 3, episode 1, and welcome to the Punch Out Podcast, brought to you by the Uptown Strangers. Oh, by the way, we created a Facebook finally. Go like us, the Uptown Strangers, because I wanted to make it a little bit more classy.
I know, we're official now.
We're official. The makes us official.
I know, it was sent to me in an email. I don't feel like looking for it.
No worries.
Okay, so as always, we start out every podcast with our
News to abuse. Abuse. News to abuse.
Unofficial theme songs all day.
We're gonna have to until someone makes us dope beats.
Reject.
Shut up. Anyway.
Whoa.
That was a spike of epic proportions. Let's start off with our news to abuse with a great old-fashioned trailer discussion.
Oh man, you know wait. I just want to before we start, I just want to say real quick. Next year is going to be Attack of the Trailers.
What do you mean?
Because we have all those comic book movies coming out, and okay, every other movie they show maybe 1 or 2 trailers, but comic book movies. There's a million teasers and a million trailers.
And teasers to teasers.
They can't sell it enough.
Are we going to lick your little nipples until you get excited about this movie, bitch?
Wow. So get excited for the second Deadpool trailer that'll be coming out in like a month.
Man.
Suicide Squad trailer's out the ass.
Can I actually tell you something about that Deadpool trailer? When I first came out, I was like, this is actually pretty funny. And TJ Miller kills in there. And I'm not just saying that because I met TJ Miller, but he kills it in the trailer. But then the more and more I started listening to the trailer, and I've watched it multiple times now, it's the reason why I kind of dislike Deadpool. And I'm like, oh, there's going to be a lot of those stupid jokes that I dislike. Like, oh, look, it's Taco Tuesday. I'm going to eat tacos because I'm wacky. And I'm like,
I'm goofy now. Remember when I was a badass assassin? No way. No, I know what you mean. Deadpool's getting a little old with his comedy. At this point,
it's a one-trick pony.
It is a one-trick pony, but people like it.
It's just like
it's fun.
I like Wolverine again, but for a while there, it was just like, the best there is what I do, and what I do is blah blah blah. I'm like, we get it, we get you.
Yeah. Let's not get on a Wolverine train right now. I hate Wolverine. I still hate Wolverine, actually.
But you know what's crazy is that I could never get tired of that from Batman. And speaking of Batman, the trailer of Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice came out last week.
Superman touches Batman in his pants.
So, I don't know about you, but a lot of people don't seem to be happy with this trailer.
No, which is surprising. I thought that this trailer would come out and everybody would jump on this trailer and say, fuck Civil War, this shit is awesome. And no, it was the exact opposite response. Civil War got all the hype. I mean, it got the most views because it's the first trailer. Mm-hmm. And Batman vs. Superman gets a really good official trailer. And it sucks.
And it shits the bed.
It
and reveals a lot about the movie, by the way.
Too much about the movie.
Let's give you all the money shots in one trailer.
Well, not only do you get all the money shots, but it derails every single piece of advertisement that was previously released for this film. Think about it. They hype up this fight about Batman and Superman. The first trailer is literally I'll make you bleed, or what are they? What is this? What's the line?
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Wait,
Yeah.
no, that's dodgeball.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
that line fits.
That's two dodgeball references back to back in as many weeks. It's like
but yeah, like they make it seem like this is the core of the film, and there's nothing else to it. Granted, they do show Jesse Eisenberg just a little bit. You know, the red capes are coming and all that, which is a fantastic line.
red capes are coming, and then they turned it up to 11.
And then they said, "Hey, so we have a film with a lot of content and substance to it. It's very dark. It's very serious. It's very gritty, and it's also a film.
Filter.
It's also a film that, you know, a lot of people have been waiting to see on the big screen. Batman versus Superman finally clashing together. How can we fuck it up and throw in Doomsday? Oh, I know. Let's fuck it up and throw in Doomsday.
Spoiler.
Or at least that's what it feels like. I mean, there's that rumor that it might not actually be Doomsday. It might be the other
Bizarro.
not Bizarro. The Kryptonian guy, red. He's like red looking in some spots, and
oh,
you know who I don't remember his name. He's a really corny Wraith.
Oh, okay.
Wraith.
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Was it like William something?
No, that's
in the hole, Ace in the Hole, or something like that, or anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
Nobody
cares.
But anyway, some people think it might be Wraith. It's obviously not Wraith. It's Doomsday, because there's no way they would do that. Yeah. What?
Can I tell you now? Can I give you some of my opinions?
Go,
They might not be the best popular ones, but number one, I fucking love over the top Jesse Eisenberg. I'm probably one of the few people that like it because he's just chewing up the scenery, and with a movie that is so far up its ass,
eats up every scene.
yeah, the fucking movie that's so far up its ass that like I'm like I will take this if this can be some sort of relief to everybody being. And I feel like that's how everybody's gonna talk in this movie. It's just like I'll take this fucking over the top fucking
I don't know,
Lex Luthor.
Man.
You know what?
Why would you want an over the top Lex Luthor though?
Well, there's a theory. Here's your favorite thing, a fan theory that's actually Lex Luthor
God.
Jr. Which, you know, meh. But anyway, no. Look, we need over the top Lex in that movie. Think about it. That maybe there'll be a Joker appearance, maybe there'll be a Flash appearance, maybe there'll be other appearances, but this movie is missing some form of comedy. Why the Marvel movies work so well? There's a great mix of drama and comedy. Even the Marvel TV shows, which are dark as fuck, have these comedic moments. Like Foggy's like the fucking comic relief in Daredevil, which makes it fucking all the awesome.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, with as serious as that was, and the overtones on that.
Yeah, but but that's the thing though. The comedy in the Netflix shows helps to make the really dark moments make them even more darker, because it gives like a lighthearted approach to it. The movies are they're comical, you know what I mean? They're meant to be fun movies to watch, and they entertain you, and you can't always entertain people with people punching each other in the face. There's moments in between. But now here's the big but the big but with Batman versus Superman and
Stefan's big butt.
And the difference between Batman versus Superman versus the way Marvel does it. And I'm not trying to do a Marvel versus DC debate. That's for you guys on
Excuse
Tumblr.
me, sir. I need you to not pick a side in this war. You have to understand that they come from two different universes. Number one, Marvel comes from a real-life place where these heroes have serious powers in real-life situations. Secondly, DC Comics have been a... Shut the fuck up. DC Comics... I'm gonna kill you. Comment. Secondly... I'm not even gonna do this.
Yeah, anyway.
God.
So anyway, the difference between that is that Marvel tends to have everybody as a comic relief at some point. Look at Ultron's making jokes. Iron Man and Captain America are riffing off each other right in the beginning of the film. But
That makes sense though, because Ultron's part of Iron Man.
yeah. But in Batman versus Superman, you have a character who's all jokes and funny and ha ha ha, and everybody else is and very serious. I mean, they do make that one joke at the end with Superman and Batman. You know, is she with you?
But that's so that's like a lame attempt at comedy.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Even with Superman, every time he tries to be like kind of funny and witty, he comes off like a cunt.
What?
Like he's like, and even in Man of Steel, he's like, oh, or douche. He's like, well, I guess Lois fell down the hole, or some stupid shit like that. Well, I mean that never happened. But think of the Superman from Robot Chicken.
Remember when Lois was black?
Oh yeah. Anyway, so remember in Superman. So that Breckin Meyer Superman. That's how that Superman comes off. And what's crazy is that Breckin Meyer's Superman is probably the best Superman in like the last 10 years. And it's not even a fucking real thing. So anyway,
it's not even a real style
not even
of
a
that Superman.
Fucking real style of Superman. But I'll take Dick Superman over this dick of a Superman that we have now.
Wow.
Anyway, I like Batfleck because he does play a good Bruce Wayne.
A lot of people were against it in the beginning. Remember the freaking uproar?
Hey, look, Ben Affleck, after he disappeared for a bit, he came back and he was like, dude, you guys, you remember when I was an awesome filmmaker and I made that fucking Mork from Ork movie with it?
Wow.
You know, Good Will Hunting, obviously. And everybody was like, nah, that's Matt Damon probably wrote it, and Ben Affleck. There's that stupid Family Guy joke where he's like, Ben, do you have anything to contribute to the script? He's just like, brr. But he goes and he makes Gone Baby Gone. He fucking does The Town. Mm-hmm. He does Argo, which is fucking really great. Argo, fuck yourself. And then he's like, everybody's there, like, and Warner Brothers, who loves him for bringing home an Oscar to their studio, is just like, hey, do you want to play Batman? And everybody was like, but they forgot he was fucking great in Dogma and all these other movies.
Yeah, but the first thing everyone thought of was Daredevil.
Yeah.
And
that's not his
that
fault.
wasn't so great. Oh, yeah, it wasn't his fault, but there's a lot of other things that were wrong with it. But
let's go back. Honestly,
he makes an amazing Batman.
He does, and it's just like the one thing though. The Batman with a shotgun. I'm not going to discuss that. Let's not look at that right now. But because that'd be me getting too nitpicky. Let's just let's look at this. I'm just going to use this as an example. Look at when those movies were made. Those early 2000s superhero movies where even now where a lot of people will go at the time, including me myself, they'll go, man, that Spider-Man movie was the best thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. X-Men 2, that fucking scene in the mansion, the greatest thing I've seen in my life. We've now gone about 15 to 16 years of superhero movies, and now we're like, wow, those movies were shit. That X-Men 2 scene, that still holds up though, and that fight scene from Spider-Man 2 in the train still holds up for me.
Yeah, I mean,
but
yeah,
go ahead.
No, continue. You were saying. I don't want to interrupt you as you sip your soda.
I do. I need it because I was getting parched. Fucking this movie is gonna be a clusterfuck of things, and we'll see. We'll discuss more on that later. I don't want to spend like an hour on Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, we got to move on. Next
and
topic.
Speaking of clusterfucks, Marvel announced that they're doing a Civil War 2.
What?
Yeah, a sequel to the 2005 Mark Millar, Steve McNiven joint. You didn't know this?
No.
Yeah, Sam Wilson and I think Tony Stark, who's in the Iron Man suit now. I'm not 100% sure. They announced Brian Bendis is writing it with Dave Marquette. They did Infinity together, and a lot of people are like,
I can see why.
Here's my thing. I don't know how Marvel's continuity is now. Secret War has been fucking delayed for 8 weeks. They rebooted everything. I know this is a cheap cash-in because Marvel will reboot anything just to put it out along the books. Look how many times Thor's been rebooted in the last couple of years. Look how many times Guardians, Iron Man, any book that has a movie coming out, they'll reboot it. So they'll be like, oh, look, this is a #1 and you can read it. Do I fault Marvel for it? No, because you want to get new readers in, and sometimes numbering can be confusing. So I understand that. What I don't understand is you do this new continuity and not everybody's a fan of everybody. Everybody's just like, oh, Iron Man hates Captain America. Sam Wilson hates everybody. Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson don't get along anymore. And it's just like, whatever. I just don't care at this point.
Man, I don't know. That just seems like a really bad idea. Honestly, I don't see what the point is of even reintroducing the whole Civil War thing in general. That just seems...
Yeah.
It's just a cash-in. It's what it really is. It's weird. Marvel seems to really, really enjoy I don't want to say alienating, but they really do seem to enjoy reinventing their world or doing new things just to get new readers. Like, just to get people who are like, oh, I love the movie and I love the cartoons and stuff. I want to know what's going on in the real comics. What's actually happening? They really like those people a lot.
I guess it's because you're trying to build a new fan base, but
Yeah.
they need to stick with what works, what's working for them, and bring in these niche audiences. And as much as we hate it, like the Tumblr crowd, like look at Squirrel Girl, look at Spider Gwen, look at Miss Marvel, and
eventually every single Marvel comic is going to become Adventure Time. That's what's going to happen.
But I mean, look at Hawkeye. Like, Hawkeye was dope, what they did. Even with the storyline they did before they rebooted it yet again. Jeff Lemire had the mirroring... this is like the longest we've talked comics on.
Yeah, probably.
Finally, yay. No, but it was awesome where they saved those children that were being experimented on that everybody wanted to fucking kill, that controlled minds. But then that went nowhere because then they were like, hey guys, we got to reboot it. We got to reboot everything.
Sorry guys.
And now we're going to use Old Man Hawkeye. But then they mirrored the story of him and his brother when they were trying to escape, and that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for comic news.
That's disappointing.
Well,
That's really disappointing.
You don't
if
like...
that's it.
There's nothing really going on to discuss, man.
That's true.
I wish I could. The Star Wars comics are fucking kicking ass, by the way.
Yeah, they're getting better and better as they continue.
Yep. So, my next item up for sale. Now, on our list is, do you want to discuss VGAs?
Okay, let's talk very briefly about that because there's only so much that can be said about the VGAs.
I've got two really big key items from here, though.
Oh, of course. Let me guess. One of them's about Hideo Kojima.
Yep, that's gonna happen.
So wait, I just want to say this real quick. When Elder Scrolls Online came out, I was there. I was in beta before, but when the game actually launched and everyone was playing and all this stuff, there was a Khajiit player walking by, and his name was Hideo Kojima. That's all I wanted to say. I love that name. I'll never forget it. So continue.
I love your face.
Wow.
VGAs, they took place last week from LA. I found out a really interesting statistic about that. You know how they determine who wins those awards?
No.
Do you want to guess, or do you don't care?
They don't do like a fan
only for esports and for like trending gamer.
Okay. Well,
So 32 members from different gaming websites from around the world get to vote on this. Yeah.
Okay.
People from Famitsu, IGN, Giant Bomb. Nobody from Kotaku.
No, they're fucking obvious.
But Famitsu, there's a couple European ones. There's one Mexican game site that they use.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I was like, cool.
That's cool.
10 esports judges, like people from like respected.
Esports judges?
Yeah, different commentators and people from the esports community get votes on the game picks, and 10 CEOs.
Ooh.
Like, but no, not game developers. Reggie Fils-Aimé. That's all I can think of. Peter Moore, obviously, like pioneers, people that have high kind of positions.
That's interesting.
And the brothers from Rockstar, because they pay for the VGAs. But you see how Rockstar like doesn't get any press or anything? They don't care.
They don't. That's cool.
Let's be honest, Rockstar. Well, I've had friends who work for Rockstar and wouldn't say the same shit that I'm about to say. But anyway, let's move out of the way from that. So, big winners for the night: The Witcher 3, which won Game of the Year.
Game of the Year, which is well deserved,
Which is
and we
crazy,
talked about that.
yeah.
We talked about Game of the Year
on the podcast you will never hear.
I know, unfortunately, but I told you we spoke about the same thing. That Fallout 4, amazing game, really good. But who's probably the better contender? We thought it was The Witcher.
We said Witcher.
Look at that.
A really unintentional, funny moment. I'll play it for you later on. But there's before they're announcing the nominees for Game of the Year, and some drunk guy or somebody yells out, "It better not be fucking Fallout 4." And everybody starts laughing in the crowd. It was so fucking great. Like, I started crying because I was like, "That's so fucking great."
Oh, you watched it?
I was at work and I watched it.
Oh,
on
okay.
stream.
I was asleep probably.
That's good. But they also, CD Projekt Red won fucking Developer of the Year, and they won RPG of the Year.
Wow. Developer of the Year, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Well, think about it. They gave out all that free DLC, and they gave you that fucking thank you letter inside the box.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
Second best. This is just because of me. The second biggest winner of the night, Rocket League, which took home best indie game, which is surprising. Sports game, and Metal Gear went home with 2 awards. Mm-hmm. You know, blah blah blah.
I don't know what happened with that.
Yep. I have some game reveals from the show. Telltale announced both a Batman game.
Yeah, the Batman one sounds so weird.
Did they give more details on it? I couldn't find any details.
They didn't give much details on it. They just announced the title.
You know, would be amazing if it's a GCPD game, where you know how the show Gotham is supposed to be.
That would be much better.
Yeah,
I'd rather play that. Well, I hope it's not like a stupid Batman is being attacked by 12 assassins on Christmas.
You need to find his wife. No, I do want. I was gonna say, if you played The Wolf Among Us, it's gonna be good, because The Wolf Among Us really stood to the Fables lore, and they couldn't be called Fables because obviously, for obvious reasons. But that shit was fun, and then they also announced the Michonne game because people like Michonne. Blah blah blah. Tim Schafer came out and announced Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, really excited about Tim Schafer doing anything. I like Tim Schafer.
More Tim Schafer news coming up.
I know, and then we got Grim Fandango, Day of the Tentacle, Full Throttle, all coming back, which is amazing. Those are great games that I think a lot of people in today's modern gaming generation has missed out on.
I got so excited.
Adventure games don't exist anymore for the most part. I mean, King's Quest recently got released, and not recently, it was a while ago, but that's like the last real adventure game that I can think of.
Those Telltale games are a little bit close to it.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, you know what they play like to me, and it's just something that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
They play like iOS games essentially to me.
I'm okay with that. Rock Band VR, which I told you about.
Yeah, that's weird.
That does look weird. When you can look at plastic instruments, that freaked me out.
That's awkward.
Oh, speaking of VR, there's certain... I was trying to watch a YouTube video on my phone yesterday, and there are ads that are playing in VR.
For the Oculus mobile?
No. So you know that Clash of Kings game or whatever that fucking bullshit is? Uh-huh. So I was watching a video, and then what caught my attention was I was holding the phone like this.
Gyro bursts.
And yeah, there were gyros. And then... So I'm looking at the commercial, and then I moved my phone like this to go switch hands, and then the view just switched to the left. Meaning that a lot of these commercials now on YouTube are, for that stupid Android, whatever you call it, that's Android Oculus shit, the Samsung one. Yeah. They're coming out with commercials for it already. But I'm thinking, if you're watching YouTube videos and you're watching regular YouTube videos and you're like this, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, you need to reevaluate some things.
And because there wasn't that many great announcements at VGA, Rocket League for the Xbox One, which I was excited about. Because suck my dick.
Meh.
Shut up. Shut your face.
I already got it for free.
Let's not talk about that. I'm trying to get... Do you remember what the Mortal Kombat DLC news was?
Yeah. So Mortal Kombat released its second wave of DLC characters, which are going to include... And I'm going to start by least to most. We have Bo' Rai Cho. Which, if you played any of the 3D Mortal Kombat games, congratulations all 2 of you. You know Bo' Rai Cho, the drunken fighter. He's coming back, which is kind of cool. I like Bo' Rai Cho. Triborg, which is a very interesting character. So Mortal Kombat, or NetherRealm, decided, how about instead of introducing all the cyborgs individually, why don't we have one cyborg that can utilize all of them in different stances?
That's dope.
So you have Triborg, who contains Cyrax, Sector, and
Smoke.
I think Smoke.
It's Smoke.
Oh, okay, so Smoke as well. Which is interesting. I mean, I haven't seen much on Triborg, but it looks pretty cool.
Triborg is the greatest.
I don't know. I don't know how to determine or rank these two because they're kind of cool. So you have Leatherface, which is interesting.
Rest in peace, Leatherface.
He'll be the companion to Jason, and not necessarily. It's the xenomorph. It's the alien, but not just any xenomorph. It's a xenomorph that spawns out of a I forgot the name of the Baraka race, but that spawns out of Baraka and has like the blade arms. So that's kind of I mean, it's cool to incorporate. It's a nice blend of the genre. Yeah, don't have it bend the wire. That's why the legs were underneath it. So it's a nice blend of both the Mortal Kombat realm and the Xenomorph Aliens franchise to have that kind of melded the character. And also, it's just a nice little touch. So those are the new characters that are coming out for it.
Thank you.
I don't know if they're going to release... They're probably going to release them one at a time like they did with the first pack. I don't know if they're going to release them all at the same time. But on top of fighting game news... Those are interesting characters. They're cool. But on top of fighting game news... yeah, bro. Fucking Final Fantasy. Ew.
Yeah, fuck man. Welcome to the jungle.
Street Fighter V's final character was revealed.
Oh wait, I'm getting to that.
Something else.
Wait, that's PSX. I'm getting to that. Don't worry.
I have to talk about it now.
Don't worry, I'm getting to it.
Oh,
Shh, I got it.
you killed my pawn.
Give me a second. I just want to touch on this real quick. Greg Miller from Kinda Funny won Training Gamer, and on the subject of who gives a fuck, I actually give Greg Miller a lot of credit because he quit IGN to go do his own thing, and a lot of people were like, "Good luck, fuckface," and he's doing his thing.
Good luck, asshole.
Pretty much, and he's doing his fucking thing, and what can I say? He, instead of doing the PewDiePie thing or he beat big names like PewDiePie and Markiplier.
Thankfully.
And Total Biscuit. Just imagine, though, if one of those guys would have won the awards, their speeches would have went a little bit different. He thanked, like, the usual people. He spent, like, 30 seconds doing that. But the rest of his speech went to thanking developers. And
that's interesting.
he essentially gave out some lady's name who I don't remember, but she was a environmental design list for Crystal Dynamics.
Okay. Oh, I've heard of her, yeah.
And he said, like, he's never met her or he doesn't know her, but he just wants to thank her for his hard work. And then he was like, there's probably fucking developers right now working who probably couldn't attend to be here, or, you know, they're far away from their families. And it was pretty fucking cool of him to do what he did.
You know, that kind of touches on something that I mean, I've thought about this a lot of times, and I think that's kind of the separation now. Between, I mean, I hate to say gamers like that, but the separation in between the gaming community as it is now. I mean, you have a lot of people now that are considered, quote, celebrities within the gaming community that really are just known for playing games, like PewDiePie or Markiplier. And yes, they have, maybe not PewDiePie, but they have respect for the gaming culture as it is. You know, they grew up playing games. They have their favorite games and stuff like that. Maybe they even have their favorite developer. But I don't think, especially they don't think. I don't know. At least I don't think that they think on the same terms as this guy. You know, when you think about the developers and you think about the industry as a whole, and you think about the people that made the industry what it is today, and who are keeping or making the industry interesting and keep it moving forward. You know, keeping this whole culture moving forward, you have to think about the little people. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about the people behind, like, who's the head of NetherRealm Studios?
Ed Boon, no?
Yeah.
There you go.
So, Ed, you know, nobody knows Ed Boon's name. Nobody knows the people that work with Ed Boon. Nobody knows the people that played these games and tested them and kept the Mortal Kombat community alive to a point to where we have a Mortal Kombat.
What I love is I'm trying to see if I can find the goddamn quote.
That was very soapboxy of me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's really great. He says it. He goes, essentially what he says is, you know, these people work on these games for years, for months and years, and they're away from their family just to have someone go online and say it fucking sucks, they don't deserve to work, or they don't deserve to do anything. But he says, like, you know, thank these people. If it wasn't for these people, I wouldn't have had a job at IGN. I wouldn't have a job doing Kinda Funny. And it's just like, I respect that, dude. Like, that's the perfect way to kind of get that facade over. A lot of people just assume that all gamers are just angry Reddit post people who love to jerk off to 4chan photos.
They think that, they think that gamers are, okay, let me replace that. There's three majorities when it comes to gaming. There's the Mountain Dew loving, Doritos eating, munching Call of Duty fans
And
that
video
you see in the
commercial.
commercials. Then there's the huddled over their computer,
MOBA.
playing, MOBAs, RTS, and MMOs. And then there's the artsy indie gamer who likes to only play the smaller titles from studios you've never heard of before that go on Reddit all day. Those are really the three types of gamers most people think of when they think of gaming. And I'm talking about people even outside of gaming that have never touched a controller in their life, even now know these stereotypes. But then there's the fourth majority, which are,
Us.
yeah, the people that
Or
actually...
we just love the industry and love everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we see. That's what we're seeking out with this project from us. It's just a love for the shit we like. We love games. We love movies. We love comics. We just love this culture of we can sit down huddled around a computer talking for an hour and a half. We can at the fucking touch of a button on my phone get in contact with somebody that is just as passionate as us and could help us do what we need to do to get ourselves ready. And I just, even if you're a friend of ours that's actually taking the time to listen to us talk, and you've probably talked to us 100 times, but if you take the 10 minutes, 20, you don't even have to listen to the whole episode. If you listen up to this point and give me feedback, I just want to say thank you, because you kind of continue to push us to continue doing this thing that we love, even though, not a lot of people will hear it one day right now, but maybe one day somebody would be like, dude, that fucking podcast you guys did helped me out. I was going through a stressful period. I don't know. I'm just thinking too far ahead, but it's a funny thing because we joke around about how this culture is, and then at work, it's just like people will come up to us and be like, "Oh, I didn't think you were opinionated, or you had this opinion on something," and I'm just like, "Well, you see, you're making an assumption."
That's our culture now. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm talking about nerd culture in general, not just.
I don't think it's like
games.
that. I think that it's been painted kind of ugly by pop culture, and it seems like as much as people try their best not to do it, us trying not to be that way is making us that way.
Yeah.
And it's not
But
like
it's like I call it the gamer girl syndrome, where everybody thinks that a girl gamer has to have like crazy colored hair and wear Legend of Zelda shirts, but that like once our stuff got accepted by the mainstream, like we had to fit a mold.
Yeah.
And it's sad because when you don't fit that mold, people don't expect much from you.
It's just like when I told people about the comic book shop thing. Like, people are surprised. They're like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, let's move on.
Suck a dick. Anyway. Okay, so let's move to the next topic.
Because I'm going to get upset if I keep talking about it. I guess one of the final notes, and I know you kind of don't want to talk about it, but Konami banning Kojima from attending.
Oh, no, I want to talk about that.
So
what happened to Konami?
Fuck it. Look it. I actually had a before we decided on the first title, which I've forgotten already, BBC or whatever it was, BBP. No, the episode of the podcast I was gonna name is called Konami Decode. Anyway, so as you guys know, well, you may have not know, but Kojima Productions won for best action adventure game and a couple other awards at the VGAs.
Kiefer Sutherland
and Jack Bauer himself accepted the award because he put a lot of time into that game. So Jeff Keighley, who I naturally just don't give two fucks about.
No, Jeff Keighley has his moments where Jeff Keighley but he walks that line of being the journalistic, being the video game journalist and the corporate spokesman.
Yeah.
So he knows, he'll sit there and be like, brought to you by Doritos and Mountain Dew. Get your game on.
But
blah, 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 blah.
But he says it so
So I have to say this, so I'm saying it, and thank you guys for listening to that. But in other news, let me tell you why Kojima's not accepting this award.
I got the quote right here.
Yeah,
I wrote it down. So after after he got the award, Jeff Keighley came up looking somber, like his best friend died, which pretty much was what happened. And he gave this statement. Jeff Keighley said, "As you noticed, Hideo," I put Hideo and I guess I typed two. Hideo to Kojima. Hideo Kojima is not here with us tonight, and I want to tell you a little bit about that. Mr. Kojima had every intention of being with us tonight, but unfortunately he was informed by a lawyer representing Konami just recently that he would not be allowed to travel to tonight's award ceremony to accept any awards. At this point, the crowd starts to boo loudly. Kaylee continues, "He's still under an employment contract, and it's disappointing and it's inconceivable to me that an artist like Hideo would not be allowed to come here and celebrate with his peers and his fellow teammates." And he said to my friend Kojima, "We miss you, and we hope to see you next year's VGAs." So my question to you, Stefan, you asked me what happened to Konami. I asked you in return, what the fuck happened to Konami? This was a company was on, I wouldn't say on top of the world, but they were the respected top tier kind of Japanese developers, and they've kind of fallen flat on their face.
Yeah, Konami was
Publisher,
up
I should
there.
say. Publisher, not.
I mean, no, Konami was up there. They had some really good titles under their belt.
They brought fucking Yu-Gi-Oh to this country.
They brought Yu-Gi-Oh to this country. They also brought the art of simulated dancing on metal pads.
Yep.
To this country, and
let's not forget Contra.
Konami, Konami is nothing to scoff at, like nothing to like laugh at. They're a serious company that has been a part of us for a long time and a part of everyone's childhood. But
look at all the. I'll put this. I'll slide this out real quick, and I'll let you go because I'm sorry for cutting you off. But
cool.
When we go to Barcade, or when anybody goes to Barcade here in the city, what's the first thing everybody's like? Let's play Turtles. Let's play Simpsons. Let's play X-Men. And it's just like all games made by Konami.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened to that company? And this is for a lot of Japanese companies where it's just like, what the fuck is going on, guys?
That's what I wanted to say. I mean, you can interchange the name Konami with what we just said with many other Japanese companies, Japanese game or publishers, if you will, and I feel like this Konami is the personification of what's actually happening with the Japanese game industry. The Japanese game industry is starting to falter on itself. And they're sticking to a lot of old ideals and old principles, and a lot of these more, how do I say this, creative and advantageous directors and creators are challenging that. There's a lot of developers in Japan that don't fit the old model of publishing and corporate workings, if you will, of Japan, and a lot of them are moving here. Like look at Suda51. Suda51 he does some pretty good games. They're No More Heroes.
I love No More Heroes. I was just about to say No More Heroes.
Yeah, No More Heroes. Was it Killer 7?
Mm-hmm.
Great games, really great games, and it's a shame because they don't get their due from their actual publishers, their Japanese publishers. And a lot of Japanese developers now are kind of dead. They don't do much. And most Japanese games that come out now are remakes or part 11s, 12s, 13, 14s of games that have made those companies what they are.
Looking at you, Final Fantasy.
Looking at you, Final Fantasy.
Which is funny because I actually have a story about that. Well, I think it's sad because it really kind of, I wouldn't say it started last year, but I would say the first nail in the Kojima coffin was the cancellation of Silent Hills.
Yep.
And that sort of like
the first initial offering from Konami that they just didn't give a fuck no more.
Think about it. That was the first Japanese developed game where there was hype to it, where it was like, this shit is gonna move systems. It's gonna be a big seller. Because look at Resident Evil. Resident Evil had that fall from grace. It's still having that fall from grace. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, even when the new, I would say the turning point was 5, for at least for me. When I was super excited for Resident Evil 5, and then it came out, and I was like,
yeah, a lot of people were like that. And
then what's crazy is because the game before, it was like at the peak. I think that was like the greatest Resident Evil could ever get.
Yeah, the Resident Evil, when fucking 4 came out, it changed things. It redesigned the game, and everyone loved it. It was great. And something.
And then 5 happened. And then 5 happened. And I don't know what the fuck happened. So yeah. There's some developers where I think that they get it done right. Level 5, for example, which I'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's still sad. Like when Silent Hills got canceled, I was like, well, what the fuck?
Shocker.
It was really weird. And
it was
then
one of the most downloaded demos and most recorded and most watched YouTube video.
pretty much they moved. Well, remember that
for let's plays at least.
Remember in the PlayStation conference last year when that weird commercial came? I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then they downloaded it and went, "Holy shit! This is the scariest fucking thing I've played in quite a long time." And then when you have someone as brilliant as Kojima fucking mixed with somebody as sick and twisted as Guillermo del Toro, it was just like, could you expect the fucked up shit that would have been in that game? And then you think about it, the fucking jerking off to VR that everybody's doing, like that would have been the next step.
No.
You imagine playing PT.
No.
Well, yeah, there is.
No.
There's a PT version
Shut
for
up.
Oculus.
Shut the fuck up right now. That's no. Shut
That's
up.
amazing
Shut
and
up.
scary and all
I don't
types
ever
of
want to think.
good.
All right, look. Can we not have Oculus Rift launch with a horror title?
There's a really spooky one for Morpheus or for PlayStation VR. It is creepy as fuck, and we're gonna play it because
you're gonna play it.
I'll play it. I don't care.
will watch you and mock you, but I will not.
I'd fucking PM myself.
So I just want to say this real quick for the record. I love horror movies. Like I love the whole horror genre. I'm a huge fan of it. I adore it.
Except you're a little
I'm
scaredy
a
cat.
wuss. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a big wussy. I can't handle that stuff. I don't like going to haunted houses. I love Halloween, but I'm afraid. So.
And
That's my life.
one last thing about that whole Konami thing, which it's fucked. They're making pachinko machines now.
I feel
Good luck.
that was the big mistake. But I feel like Konami should be a little short podcast in its own because I feel like we need to do a lot more research.
We
need
do
to
a
look at
history
their
of
sales figures.
we do a
need to
history of
look at-
Konami. We
I
can make it an article.
Yeah, we can make it an article. Oh yeah, we should. You know, that would be much better. Because I have a feeling it has to do with a change in management.
Rise and
Every
fall of-
company has that. Every company has a change in
Well,
management,
I learned
and shit goes wrong.
a lot about
Especially
kind of
in
like the Japanese, the video game industry, just from that Console Wars book. Like, not only Nintendo, for the long time, they didn't change their ways. Look at Sega. Sega Japan's the reason why Sega faltered in the United States. And even Sony, after Sony's success by a fucking European guy, the Japanese took over again, and that was sloppy and everything, how that was handled.
Sony's like the prime example
Olaf Olferson.
of how things just fuck up, especially with Japanese companies. Like not even talking about their game division. There's the company in general. They did some really bad decisions that I think a lot of other Japanese companies kind of follow suit with now. But that's the topic for another.
So yeah,
topic?
the one last thing for the Konami thing, Jade Raymond threw shade at Konami, which was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
This was before the voiceover award that she gave out, which she botched. She got the right lady's name, but then she announced it for the wrong game. So she was like, it was that girl from Her Story. She was like, oh, and your winner is blah, 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 whatever her name was. And then she was like, for Witcher. And then everybody in the crowd was like, what?
Okay.
The girl was like, well, I worked on Her Story, so it was amazing. But Jade Raymond threw the ultimate shade. She was talking about something about voice actors and how ridiculous it would be if we still did, like voices from back in the day. It couldn't be as ridiculous, and I have the quote, as Konami replacing David Hayter as Solid Snake.
Oh.
And Kiefer Sutherland was like, I'm going to punch this bitch in her face.
Oh.
Anyway.
No. He was like, I'm gonna punch this bitch in her face because I'm Jack Bauer, and nobody crosses Jack
Where's the
Bauer.
bomb? All right.
Oh,
So that wasn't the only show that happened this
Yeah,
weekend.
can we talk about the PlayStation thing
We
already?
are
I wanna talk
finally
about it. I wanna
getting
talk
into
about it.
PlayStation
I wanna talk about
Experience.
it.
Before you get to your Street Fighter,
50 minutes into the podcast, and we finally get to talk about something I wanted to. I'm joking.
shut up. Wow, So, can I just really briefly run through one thing?
Yeah, good.
Sony ended the fucking PS4 conference.
Paul, you're saying what you're saying.
Yeah, they ended the podcast with Epic Games showing off on a MOBA because everybody needs a MOBA.
Everybody has to have a MOBA now.
Yeah, whatever.
Everybody has to have one. You can't not have a MOBA.
Did you see that trailer from Gollum? It was a VR game that looked like Shadow of the Colossus. It's pretty fucking dope.
I didn't see it.
Here, it's this right here. Level 5 announced the new Ni no Kuni, which I got excited about because I like the first Ni no Kuni. You shut your mouth. Destiny's getting Sparrow Racing. Wah, wah, wah.
For all you people that play the Destiny. If you
By
do-
the way, this Sony conference was brought to you by the word VR. Jesus, everything's on VR.
Oh my god, because I can't wait. Oh my god, next year when the Oculus finally comes out in Q1, if it comes out in Q1, it's gonna be fucking amazing.
Two separate things. 100-foot robot
I know,
golf.
it's not two separate. Can we clarify that? There's different names for the same fucking thing at this point.
Pretty much. It's like the Wiimote and the Move controller.
Yes.
Ratchet and Clank, the remake of the remake of the remake, is coming out in April, which I'm excited about. The game looks awesome.
Yeah, can we not do remakes anymore? Can we move on?
And speaking of sequels and remakes, unintentional funny moment number 2 of the weekend goes to the guy who, when they showed off the Ace Combat 7 trailer, lost his shit. It was hilarious. So they're like, we have one more VR game to show you, and like the Ace Combat 7 trailer starts, and this guy goes, oh shit, like really loud, and it's so great. He like loses it. But can you imagine though playing Ace Combat with VR? Somebody's gonna throw up all over their living room.
Orges.
Oh, speaking of VR, Rez.
That's an interesting game to bring to VR because it
More people are gonna get
needs
sick.
to be. I mean, that's one remake I approve.
Yay, buddy. Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 5 coming to,
Finally.
for your Japanese soap opera
Yeah.
games. Full Throttle announcement.
Finally.
New Psychonauts game is coming to the VR.
Yep.
Uncharted and taking its cues from Fallout, doing dialogue trees now, which is interesting. You get to choose what Nathan Drake says.
Who cares?
And finally, the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
Maybe episodic.
Hey, I know how we can make more money. Let's just stretch it out over time. And you know what's really funny about that announcement, actually?
Go ahead.
When asked, Square Enix responded, "We are going to bring episodic content each wave of content is going to bring an interesting and new perspective to Final Fantasy."
You think it's going to be like a disc 1, disc 2, disc 3 thing? That's how they're going to do
I
episodic?
don't think that's how they're going to do it.
Well, Life is Strange made them a fuckload of money.
But that was different. This was a game no one ever played, and it kind of tells like an episode. It tells like a series. Like it tells like almost like a TV show. But come on, it's fucking Final Fantasy VII.
I have one more. I think I have one more theory on that.
Who gives a shit?
The game's not ready.
No, of course not.
The game's not ready, but they want to get it out as quickly as possible
course, they
because
rushed
they
it.
have a rep of Kingdom Hearts. That's all I have to say.
Hey.
Oh my god, the Keyblade! Remember when I played this when I was 10? I'm 32 now!
That's amazing. Technically there's like generations. There's someone who was a kid playing Kingdom Hearts, and then he became a young adult. He's playing Kingdom Hearts, and now he's a father, and he's going to be playing Kingdom Hearts 3.
I never played Kingdom Hearts, so
No, whoa, we got to play that.
I played Kingdom Hearts. I played like the first stage, and then I was like, Waka from Final Fantasy X, this is awesome. And then everything else went to hell.
Sorry,
I will play it. I will promise you, 2016, we'll do a Let's Play of Kingdom Hearts, and we'll see.
Yo.
We'll make sure that Brendan likes it. Yeah.
Okay.
So now the final bit in you is they get your dick excited.
I want to say it.
Go right ahead.
So, Capcom, they released the last character I keep saying Final Fantasy, for Street Fighter V, a very interesting character, and they also announced who the DLC characters were because they were previously leaked a long time ago, and they might as well just tell us who it is. But
before you announce those DLC characters, can you save one guy for last? Just save one guy for last.
Sure. So the new character that they're going to be, the final character, which is a all new, brand new character to the whole series, is going to be Fang.
The very flamboyant Fang.
Who
if you take away one letter.
So there's one really interesting thing about Fang. Well, two interesting things actually.
Plays like a Dark Souls character.
Not only does he play like a Dark Souls character, but he does something new to the series, which is poison. He's finally adding not finally adding a DOT, but he's adding a new element to the game, as well as his Air Ultra, which I think they're called V triggers, but or V skills. But he has an Air Ultra now.
This is what it looks like. You can't see it, but essentially it's just like flappy wings.
There have been Air Ultras before. Don't get me wrong, like Akuma's Air Fireball, but the way it's implemented is very different from those, because usually those have a they're usually meant for zoning and stuff like that. This is pure anti-air. He can knock you in the air and go into it, sure, but
wait till people
this
master
is
that.
really big for a character.
It's interesting.
Because there's some characters like Ibuki, which we'll get to, Dalsim, I'm trying to think who else, Rashid,
Balrog.
not Balrog.
No, I'm saying they got an S for DLC.
Oh, yeah, but Rashid, where they're airborne, they're high mobility characters, and he seems like a really good counter for these guys. Keep them out, keep them away, keep them zoned, keep them where you want them to be, and if they make one more wrong move, you have an answer for it, a really devastating answer for it. I'm really interested to see how he is, and the beta's coming out again on the 18th of December. It'll have the characters.
Nice.
So definitely want to test them out. They're also introducing casual mode into the beta this time.
Yes!
For people like him. But the DLC characters.
I didn't tell you that I play Street Fighter Pro.
I know, you told me.
Yeah, I beat you a fucking deadlift, but anyway.
I will rock your face. Anyway, so...
Rock your face and then throw a rose at you.
But, yeah. I'll tech that shit any day. So...
Take this dick.
Wow. Speaking of teching and throwing roses and parrying, Street Fighter 3 characters are coming back. We got Urien, my main from Street Fighter 3, my favorite character. Really happy that he's coming back. We got Ibuki.
Oh wait, let's also announce that they're going to be downloadable content throughout the first year of gameplay, which is
we'll talk about that because I'm gonna lead into that. Trust me. So we have Ibuki and we have Alex finally returning. The king of power bombs, the king of upsets, Alex, finally coming back. We have Balrog, Boxer,
your Street Fighter 2 favorites.
Finally coming back because he's never been in any other game since 2, apparently.
I liked his Apollo Creed attire from Street Fighter 4.
Oh yeah, with the
That's
hood
pretty
and
dope.
Who else?
Oh, this guy?
There's one other person that I can think. Oh, there's Jury,
Yes.
which I'm excited about because I like playing Jury. She's a really good character, very interesting.
Jury.
And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the worst version of his song that Brendan could possibly play. Gully is coming back. That's the other worst version. Just look, Rush the Wind. Rush of the Wind. That's the name of his orchestral theme. So, my man Gully, as we used to say in Chinatown Fair, is coming back.
Hold on, I gotta show you this video. Keep going.
Okay, so now that now we've got the DLC characters out, we know who they are, we know what they are. Now it's just the method of unlocking them, which is actually interesting. They finally detailed the actual cost of DLC
right,
characters.
here we
Can we please pause that?
Yeah, hold on.
It's distracting the shit out of me.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No. No. Family. Wow. Okay. So they finally started showing off actual figures and numbers to how the DLC, the Zenny, how that's all going to work. So no longer is it just a pack that you pay for. It's the freemium model that they have in iOS gaming now, where it's like you pay a certain amount, a bracketed amount for Zenny, essentially. And the Zenny you use to download all the DLC content. Or you can use fight money. So you can actually play the game, earn a certain amount of money, and then download or unlock the characters one by one with your fight money. They did average out how much it's going to cost to just purchase all of the DLC characters in one go. But that's cool. I like that. It really gives you more of an incentive. If you play a lot, and now if you go online, I had this debate with that guy who, yeah. Now if you go on, I'll tell you later. Now when you go online, if you're playing against a guy who's just beating the shit out of you and you just cannot counter him whatsoever, and you're like, you know what? I think it's a character I want to try out and play. If you've played enough, you can unlock him. You can try him out, play him, do what you got to do.
I got it.
So I'm very interested to see how that's going to work. I mean, it can't be any different than any other game that does it, but
I'll just save up those points because those DLC characters are gonna come out for a while, so I'll just sit on those points.
yeah, just
You know what it
choose the
reminds me
character
of,
you want.
and why it makes me happy on the inside. Remember when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out? I think we talked about this on the podcast. You'll
Marvel vs.
never
Capcom
hear.
2. Yeah, we did talk about that, where you can just go into the in-game store and use the points that you've collected while playing to buy costumes and to buy colors and different characters.
Yep.
And it was kind of cool because it was roulette style.
Yeah.
So like you didn't know who was going to be there.
Because you had to look at your 3 choices, and then you're like, "Fuck this!" Go back out, come back into the menu. It's like 3 new choices. You're like, "Yeah." So you're just like cycle until, and then sometimes they just be different prices.
Yeah.
One time I remember there was a Lilith that was like 20,000 points, and I was like, "Fuck this!" And I came back and it was 600. I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, you could play around. It was fun. It's a dumb. By today's standards, many people would complain about it because everybody wants quick fast food gaming, but it was a nice little touch. It's something I appreciate at least. I know Brendan appreciates it.
Most certainly. I'm excited for the Street Fighter. No, I am
Street Fighter
honestly.
5's gonna be shaping up to be a pretty fun looking game.
I put about 500 hours into Street Fighter 4, and I don't know. I'm just really excited, and then especially now there's just one community. There's not like Xbox and PlayStation and PC.
There's PC.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna play on PC.
Yeah, no. A lot of people play on PC actually. There's some pretty good PC monsters like Latif and all that. But
Queen Latifah.
But no. But what's the nice thing about that? Those are all cross server now, so anybody can play with anybody.
That's exactly what I'm. But you see, that's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
everything is just one.
You can finally have
one
like, a cohesive
fucking community.
But
Shout out.
just one quick little segue before I actually go back to something you said.
I was gonna say
They
Capcom
also
Cup.
showed off something else at the Brazil not Game Expo, Comic Con, where the costumes.
Yeah.
So they showed off the exclusive costumes for Bison, Chun-Li, and Bearded Ryu. Everyone loves Bearded Ryu for some reason.
Pubic.
The
fro.
costumes, and Cammy as well. The costumes look really good. They're really.
That's always been a thing though with Capcom games and alternate costumes. They're
Oh yeah,
never
like
really
did you see the Halloween pack for 4?
Mm-hmm.
They all look awesome.
I spent a lot of money on DLC for 4. It's sickening how much money I spent.
But speaking of 4, I just wanted to touch on one thing. I know you
Guys,
you
just
don't
go
care,
ahead,
but
man. I don't.
so Capcom Cup.
We're open
concluded.
discussion podcast. Go ahead.
Open discussion. So Capcom Cup ended, and it ended with Kazunoko taking $120,000 in fight money.
You need to train. We need to pay for this podcast.
Kazunoko, for those of you in the FGC, you know Kazunoko's no joke. He's a really good player. Has been a really good player, especially in Japan. But what's interesting was his opponent, the person who came in second place, Daigo the Beast Umahara. One of the OG gods from Super Turbo, one of the OG gods with Uncle Valle in Alpha 2, and one of the gods in Japan for Street Fighter 3. And in the beginning he was really strong in Street Fighter 4 with his Ryu. Mm-hmm. Then Ryu got patched, and he admitted, he's like, Ryu sucks now, I can't play him. So he bounced around with different characters, played Yun for a while, Fei Long, and he hasn't been that great for a long time. But now he seems to have found it with Evil Ryu. Back with a vengeance, almost literally. But he's been doing really well in tournaments, placing really high. That the stupid Red Bull Cup or whatever, that tournament they held. Really good matches especially with him and Dominion.
If I practice enough and like I took the time out, like when Street Fighter 4 first came out, I could honestly say that I could quite possibly like, and this is for any game because this with Halo, if anything, and it's just my ADD won't allow me to kind of sit there and focus and practice and practice and practice. I have a funny quick story about Street Fighter 4 when Chinatown Fair got the first
the
2 cabinets. Yeah. My buddy and I, we both entered in like a mini tournament that we're having. I beat like 3 people before I got fucking wiped, but my friend took Justin Wong to the fight to last round.
Oh, nice.
And then my friend got fucked over, but he almost beat Justin Wong.
What's your friend's name?
I don't want to mention him because we had a falling out, but
okay. I don't. All right.
That guy could go fuck himself. But anyway,
I got a little funny story for you. So I've always been a huge fighting game fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until like the Justin TV stuff and all that crap back in the day that I realized that there was a really big community outside of Shoryuken.com. And that's when I really got to start watching tournaments. And dude, like my FGC hat came on. I was like all into it. I was learning all the names, learning all the moves and the characters and all this crap and the locations and all that shit. And like I really got into it at some points. Dude, there were times when I would just sit at home and watch nothing but streams all day. And then I learned something really interesting. This guy who I went to middle school with, who we kind of got along, kind of didn't, mostly didn't. I bumped into him once at Chinatown Fair, and he was really cocky, kind of a dick, and I don't know if he was holding on to anything from his past or what. Or if he's just a shitty person, but he gave me the cold shoulder a lot when I saw him, and I was like, all right, whatever, man, have a good one, take care. Left him. Dude, I see him at all these tournaments now, not as a player, mind you, but just he knows everybody in the fucking East Coast community. Very disappointing, very jelly. I'm a little jelly. I'm gonna admit. But anyway, that's not the
Stop letting them
point.
get to you.
The point is that it was a really good tournament, and it's nice to see Capcom like promote. They understand that the people who really play this game are the people who fucking love it. It's the community that plays it, so why not help them out? I mean, they came up with a statement recently that said that Street Fighter's been esports for the last 20 years, and having these tournaments like the Capcom Cup and all that, that's only going to help them out. They already said that the next Capcom Cup 2016. $500,000 prize pool for first place.
Let's be honest. Come on, man. Esports, even before it was esports, competitive arcading.
Yeah.
With Twin Galaxies and the fight for top
Back when
scores.
we all had LAN parties. Remember those days?
Yep, that's how I got introduced to Halo multiplayer. That's how I got into first-person shooters.
Oh my god!
But we'll
The
save
day I
that
went
for another
over to
fight.
Dude, I went over. I had this friend named Zach. I'm still friends with him today. But went over to his house, and he had his Xbox hooked up to this like janky ass like router, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna play Halo Online." I'm like, "What? How is that possible?" Dude, that is so much. It was so much
Unreal.
fun.
It was ridiculous.
Oh man.
Still to this day, man. Chicken and bacon. Anything else?
That's it. That's all I wanted to talk about was a little fighting game stuff.
The fighting game community. And this has been Stefan's Esports Minute.
Esports, esports.
I guess I have one last thing before we go. So I found out yesterday that
You're having a baby.
something like that. There's a really funny, and this is sort of like, I grew big on reading old National Lampoon magazines because they're fucking great. It's a great source of comedy, and it's a great inspiration to a lot of shit that we grew up liking, like fucking Animal House, and a lot of people from SNL graduated on there. Conan graduated from like the Harvard Lampoon. So one of my favorite covers, which I showed you earlier, was this one of the famous gun to the dog's head saying, "If you don't buy this magazine, we'll kill this dog." So the guy who created that was a artist by the name of Michael C. Gross, who not only designed that, but he was like a producer on all like the fucking movies from the 80s that we all love, like Ghostbusters and Plane, Trains, and Automobiles and Uncle Buck and all that shit. However, what he's really not known for, which I think a lot of people should look him up, was creating this famous Ghostbusters logo with the ghosts through the stop sign, which has been copycatted so many fucking times illegally, and probably gets no credit for it or no residuals. But if you guys just take a minute to just watch Ghostbusters this weekend, that will be my pick of the week for anybody to just do. So yeah, that's it for me.
Pick of the week for anybody to just do for me would be watch Master of None. I didn't think I'd actually.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but I actually really did. Anyway,
That's surprising. I was like, what? I was gonna say to recommend that Twitch the last round of the Capcom Cup, but
No. Well, the thing is, I was
Fuck
gonna do that. I really was gonna do that, but fuck it.
fuck them.
Fuck
those
that.
piece of
Correct.
shits.
Fuck. No, actually, don't fuck it. I mean, it's cool, but they have a subscription-based VOD system.
Pass.
So in order to actually watch that tournament and watch the final events of it, you have to have subscribed and, paid. So don't forget it. It might be up on YouTube eventually, I hope. But if you don't get a chance to see it, just know that it was really good. If not, look it up. Capcom Cup 2015 Kazunoko versus Daigo and Losers. Look it up if you get a chance.
And on that, this has been another edition of the Punch-Out Podcast brought to you by the strangers that live uptown. For Stefan,
For Brendan.
We are going to stall until I can find a song. No, thank you guys for listening again. Like us on Facebook at The Uptown Strangers. Like us on Instagram, just regular Uptown Strangers.
Oh, actually, while you look for that song, can I say one thing real quick?
By all means.
I'm going to be working on a new series on my channel. Spoke to Brendan about it. I spoke to a few people about it. And in previous podcasts, we spoke about how Uptown Strangers is about strangers. We try to get people together to work on things. People like-minded to enjoy what they do and whatever. But now more than ever, I'd actually appreciate if anybody is passionate about a game that they want to talk about, or just the story or intricacies about that game that they want to talk about. Let us know. Let me know in particular, because I'd really like to work with you, and I'd really like to get you on our shows. So, yeah.
Talking to you, Milton. No, I'm joking. No, this is actually great.
Millhouse.
We have an idea for a debate show that we want to do, but more on that later. If you have also a song, what happened?
I thought Gwen was there.
No,
that's why I was doing this.
If you have any music, or you know anybody that makes any music and wants to play at the end of our show so we can stop using copyrighted music, please send it to us at uptownstrangers@gmail.com. Any questions, queries, or comments, please send it to us there. Like us on SoundCloud at Uptown Strangers, and thank you guys for listening.
And the Facebook page.
Please. We need likes because bitches like likes.
Wow. Wow.
And on that note, guys, remember, don't forget to punch back in.
Always live my life alone. Been searching for a place called home. I know that I've been criticized. Ignore the dreams too many.